If you start a remote cleaning business, but you're working 40 hours a week, you just have a glorified job. Everything with an online business, you can eventually delegate and automate yourself out of the business. By the time that I was graduating college, the entire market decided to dump again. I was left with just like my hands down my pants. I didn't want to be someone that was just chilling at home after they graduate. And then that's when I decided to start a cleaning business. We moved to Miami, and then we saw immediate success from that. First month we did 12K in revenue, and then it went up from there.
You came out here, no business, no friends, no family. Do you have any income?
It was just more so like whatever I could eat what I can kill.
Do you think like this is a business model where it can work anywhere?
If you familiarize yourself with the market, you can run this remotely anywhere. And that's the beautiful part about this business model, because you have that location freedom. I'm just in charge of the credit card this weekend. Like I'm managing, he name drops the guy, he goes, he was like, you know, Diddy. I swear to God.
In a quick few steps, what's the fastest way to be able to make the first $10,000 a month in online cleaning business?
Yeah, so the most important part is...
All right, guys, so before we jump into the episode, just want to make a big announcement. We just launched the Motion and Success community, guys. So in this community, we're going to be giving you the game on content. Basically, how to grow your profile from 0 to 100K in under a year, as well as how to make money online, getting leads for your business, more customers, more money.
Also, for the Motion and Success podcast, one of the things that I realized, we're attracting a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that are just starting up their business and they're looking to start growing their business and scaling. One of the key factors to growing a business is by borrowing capital. So now, when you're going out to certain banks, there's certain things that you need to do to be able to get funding for your business, to be able to start, grow, and scale what you got going on and take things to the moon. So if you're looking to go out and start growing and scaling your business like a lot of our guests has been doing, I'm going to teach you how to go out and get access to capital, access to credit cards, lines of credit, loans, things of that nature, so that way you can start growing your business. Sometimes you might just need an extra 50,000. Sometimes it might be 100,000. But listen, check us out inside the community. Go ahead and click the link down below and book a call with us. And I'm going to see you guys inside the community. Enjoy the rest of the episode. All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success. Listen, guys, my name is Cody Brown, and I got my co-host.
It's Io, and bro, we in Miami with it today, man.
Oh, man, we in Miami.
Whole new city. But we was like, yo, let's come out here. Let's tap into the big entrepreneurship scene out here. It's a lot of people killing it here. A lot of people making millions of dollars. Yes. And guess what, guys? Today we got a special guest who fits that exact criteria.
Absolutely. Hey. So listen, this is where Motion and Success meets Jon Melillo.
Yeah, are you
My
good?
fault, bro. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. This is probably like my first like real podcast.
Really?
Yeah, like one of the. I mean, we're in a studio. We're in a beautiful studio down here in Miami. Like,
yeah,
it's cool.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for joining us on your first podcast, bro. I think this is gonna be a good conversation. You know, definitely gonna be breaking down how you became successful and things of that nature. So just go ahead, introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, what do you do, and then we can get started from there.
Yeah, so I'm Jon. I moved down to Miami, I believe, August of 2022.
Yeah.
Went to school, went to Elon University, majored in finance, economics. When I was going to college, I thought that I was going to be like a financial advisor, going to wealth management, but then everything just changed during 2020. Obviously, we had a crazy event that happened in our world, and that's kind of like, I was always an entrepreneur. Like I knew that I wanted to do something on my own rather than kind of do what everyone else was doing. But like, for whatever reason, when I was in high school, I was just also excited about maybe being a financial advisor because I was so passionate about like just trading and investing.
Yeah.
But then during 2020, when we couldn't do anything, I just started making content online. I know that you guys started doing your podcast a year and a half ago, but I started growing a personal brand on TikTok. Everyone thought that I was just weird for doing it. Like all my boys were just making fun of me for making these TikTok videos about just like investing in the stock market. And that kind of just led to me growing 150, 160,000 on TikTok. And then I had like my personal brand going. And then I realized at that point that everything that I was doing up until that point was not what I wanted to do. I knew that because of the money that I was making online, that this is what I needed to focus on for the next couple of years. So I started getting into crypto. I started trading. I mean, obviously in 2020, we saw a 30% correction in the stock market, opportunity of a lifetime that I took advantage of. And then while all my boys were getting kind of like jobs lined up my senior year, I was just like one of the few that didn't have a job lined up because I was just making content. I was trading. I had like a kind of like agency in the background where I was working with other companies to kind of just like promote different cryptos and different stocks, stuff like that. I had a Discord that we had, like an investing community. And then by the time that I was graduating college, the entire market decided to dump again. And then I was left with just like my hands down my pants. And I was like in a spot where I was like, damn, like I don't know what I'm gonna do now. And then that's when I started kind of like watching some videos online to start a business where it was more consistent rather than just like every month you're just doing your own thing. And then I discovered the home service remote cleaning model where you can start a cleaning business from your phone or from your computer. And then that's when I decided to start a cleaning business. We moved to Miami. I started that about a month and a half after I moved to Miami. And then we saw immediate success from that.
Wow.
First month we did 12K in revenue, and then it went up from there. And then I eventually met my other business partner, Mark, who's not here today, but he's been in Miami for 8 years now, and I've only been down here for 3 years. But we started scaling the cleaning business, and then we eventually kind of segued into leveraging our personal brand to educate other people on how to do it. We were doing that for about a year where we were kind of mentoring people to start a remote cleaning business, whether they're in the US or Canada, UK. We have people in Australia. Right. And then I met Parker, who's in the other room, who you guys are going to be talking to eventually today. And then he came in as a student. He wanted to start a cleaning business. We mentored him. And now we have a franchise a year later after that. So that's where we are today in 2025, where instead of just educating people on how to start a cleaning business, we have like a franchising deal where we do the front end, we do the back end, getting the home service business set up. And then there's a 90-day ramp period where instead of us operating and running the business, the people that is doing it is going to be fully operating the business. We kind of train them on sales, hiring, marketing, where they're going to be operating it entirely. And then we have like a revenue share as well, where we're kind of just like now building like a portfolio of home service businesses.
Yeah. All right, cool, bro. So that's a real good timeline from when 2020 all the way up until now. And there's a few things I did, realize out of your journey. You had to pivot a few times. You know what I mean? But when you was building the brand on TikTok, what was it? The financial advisor?
Yeah. So I mean, when in 2020,
services, I mean,
yeah. And so in 2020, you would just see all these videos of like, I know like Charlie Jordan, whatever their names were. They were just doing all these dancing videos. But then like I was on like the algorithm where it was just like Celtics highlights, like a lot of like the sports highlights, stuff like that. But then I saw this guy Austin who was just talking about like Disney stock and how it's down 40% in the last 2 months. And I was like, damn, like that's interesting. I didn't know that TikTok, I thought it was just like a brain rotting platform. And then I started seeing all of these people who I now am friends with, which is crazy. But like all these people were just like posting like finance content, and I was like, I can do this. Like this is like stuff that I'm passionate about. And I see that these videos are getting 65,000 views, 2 million views.
Yep.
So I just started making content. And I was just talking about Bitcoin, and I was talking about the S&P 500. And I'll post a video and it'll get like 15, 20,000 views, and I'm gaining 100 followers. And that was crazy to me at the time because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, when you were growing up, everyone had their Instagram accounts that you'd have like your 500, 1,000 followers, people that you just knew. But you're posting now on an algorithm where instead of it just being presented to those people that know you, it's to like the entire country. Right. And I just thought that was crazy. Like people are just like, everyone's seeing my video, and I had 50 followers on my account. 2 weeks later, I'm at 300 followers, and I just kept posting content. And then eventually there's this guy, Gabe. He had a stock Discord, and he was kind of running it. And I was following him because he was posting a lot of financial content. And he posted on his Instagram story that I'm looking for analysts to be like traders in my Discord. And then I reached out to him and I was like, hey, like I've been in your Discord and I've been trading, and I think that I'm pretty good at what I'm doing. Like I would love to be an analyst in your server and work for you. And then I started trading for his server, which eventually led me to start my own Discord. And then that segued to me just continuously scaling the personal brand. And then eventually, like I was saying before, I got out of kind of just like the investing side, and I started the cleaning business. I wasn't posting any content for 6-7 months because I was just focusing on scaling that. And then when I met Mark, I was telling him how we wanted to do the academy.
Wait, who's Mark?
My other business partner.
Okay.
He's someone that, it's funny because I was in Miami for a year and a half, and I had like my own friend group and everything. And then there was this one day where I decided to go to, do you guys play poker?
No.
Oh, okay. Do you gamble at all or no?
No.
Really?
Dude,
I love gambling. But I decided to play poker one day, and it was Wednesday at like 2:00 in the afternoon. and I went to this poker room, Magic City in Miami. It's where I usually go all the time. There's like a lot of older people that go there. There's not really people my age, and I'm just playing 2-5, which is like it's a game for poker. And there's this guy sitting next to me at the table, and he's like my age. Everyone else is like 30, 40. And I'm just talking to him. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing here on a Wednesday afternoon? And he's like, oh, I got my own business. And I was like, oh, what do you do? And he was like, I run a cleaning business.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Like, I run a cleaning business. I've never had a conversation with anyone before that also has a cleaning business. And then I got his contact. We started going out, getting drinks, met all his boys. And then eventually I was telling him, like, hey, like, how about we just combine our books of business together? Because I can get into it a little bit, like how the business model works and everything. But we essentially combined our books together, like merged our two businesses, and then we just went all in on starting like the academy and everything like that. And then from just meeting him at the casino, eventually led to us doing business now for 2 years, which is crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. Like I took a lot just from the brief story you gave in the beginning. 2020 was really like the year for most people where a lot of people were forced to pivot. You had that time, that pause to think and kind of like choose which direction you want to take your life. I kind of was in a similar phase. I was in the crypto, was in the NFT space. You see how things went up and then went straight down. So definitely that ability to pivot is super important. But the cleaning business, because the way you said you kind of jumped into it was, in a way, you did your research on it, but I did want to know what made it so successful, like especially out here in Miami.
Yeah, no, 100%. Before we even get into that, like for everyone that's watching this, like this is how crazy you guys can just pivot. Yeah. I was scrolling TikTok and I see this guy Aria. Do you guys remember I'm Schmacked? It was like it's kind of like Barstool. He had like this whole thing. This guy that I've been following for a few years, he posted a TikTok video and he was like, this is a good business for people that are in college that are looking to make like recurring revenue. Yeah. And he explained the business model. He was like, you can start a cleaning business. And basically if you're living in a college dorm, if you're living in a frat house, you can set up the business online, like get an LLC, like basic stuff. And then when it comes to actually the cleaning, like you don't have to do the cleaning. You just find independent contractors. You can go on Indeed. You can go on like these Facebook groups. And there's people that clean for a living and they just can't find jobs. And he's like, you reach out to them and you say, hey, like I have this business. Like if I get some deals and I have some jobs, like can I reach out to you? And then you can go and do that job. I'll pay you half of the service or maybe $25 and whatever, how you frame it to them. And he was like, you can just reach out to all the people that live in your dorm or like that are on campus. Or maybe you live in Miami and you have a high rise. You can just do like, you can get like business cards and put them on all the doors. Like you could bootstrap this. And I saw that video and I was like, damn, like this is a good idea. And the funniest part about that whole interaction of me seeing that video online is I was already planning on moving to Miami. And my mom, she was telling me, she was like, when you move to Miami, like make sure that you have a house cleaner. Like it's so muggy down there. Like I don't want your place getting dirty. Like you're in your buddy pod. Like you guys are going to be spending a lot of money like with rent in Miami. Like I want your place to be clean. Like if I ever come down there and visit you, like I want to make sure that you have like a sustained clean spot. Yeah. So I started looking into like how much a cleaning service costs in Miami. And I'm like, bro, like $150 for 2-hour clean. Like that's tax. Like that's a lot of money. And that's when I saw the video, like how the algorithm works. I see that video like 2 hours later on my phone. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to start a cleaning business when I move to Miami. So that's how I got the idea.
Hey, family, just a big announcement I wanted to share with you guys. We just launched the Motion and Success community. So listen, a lot of times, a lot of you guys are struggling online to grow your social media platform. You're considered the best kept secret. Literally, no one knows you. You got a business, but if your business is not online, you're literally a secret. We're going to be showing you guys how to grow from 0 to 100K online organically. If we did it, you guys can definitely do it too. We had influencers like Queen Latifah, Rick Ross, Usain Bolt, and many others liking our content, and this was all done organically. If you want to know those specific strategies on how you can take your brand and your business to the next level and start putting more money in your pocket, getting more leads for your business, getting more clients, and taking yourself to the next level of entrepreneurship, comment the word motion down below and let's start creating you some motion and definitely some success, but more importantly, some leads that convert into dollars.
So you were in college when you got the idea to start a cleaning business?
Well, I graduated in May, and then I had that summer before I moved out of my house.
Right.
So I graduated, went back to the Cape, because that's where I'm from, Cape Cod, Mass. And then I knew that by the end of the summer, I wanted to eventually leave the house that I grew up in, because like I didn't want to be someone that was just chilling at home after they graduate.
Right.
And then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I see that video. I'm like, bet, now I'm definitely going to get out of here. And now I can start this business when I move down there. But with...
So hold on. So you came out here, no business, no friends, no family, did you have any income?
I was still like, I had money in my bank. I had like $25K in my bank account.
Okay.
And I was still kind of like making, like you said that you were doing like the NFTs. Because of my personal brand, sometimes projects will reach out or coins will reach out and I ask to do kind of like media coverage. So like I was still making like a couple grand a month, but it was nothing crazy. Like it wasn't like a consistent income. Like I wasn't making a guaranteed 5 bands a month or 10K a month. Like it was just more so like whatever I could like eat what I can kill.
Right.
But with what you were saying, this business model, there's something called pay-per-lead ad platforms.
Pay-per-lead?
Yeah, pay-per-lead. So when I set up the LLC and everything for the cleaning business, there's something called Google LSA, Google Local Service Ads. You sign up for the ad platform. You have to show like a certificate of insurance. There's a background check that you have to get passed for. But if you're someone that wants to get a cleaning service and you don't know someone that has a cleaning business, what are you're probably going to go to Google and search cleaning companies near me, something like that.
We're going to a Facebook group of a local
Oh, you'll
area.
do Facebook group too?
Yeah, local area.
So me personally, I'll just go to Google because Google is like you ask them any question, they're going to give you an answer. So on Google, if you search cleaning services near me, there's a list of businesses at the top of Google. It's called Google LSA, Local Service Ads. So that was an ad platform that I got set up when I started my business. Once you get set up, the way that the algorithm works, it's like a Ferris wheel. You have all the businesses that are on Google LSA, and then throughout the day, you're going to be ranked at the top of the page, maybe 12 to 3 p.m., you're the first business on Google LSA. And the call to action on Google, you see the name of the business, you see how many reviews they have, and then there's just a call button. There's not even like an option for you to hit their website or anything. So you hit call. Next thing you know, my cleaning business is the one that's answering the phone. We're getting a phone call from you being like, hey, I have a two bed, two bath apartment I need to clean. And then you just quote them from there. So it's a straight up inbound lead, someone that is interested in the service that you sell, in the service area that you offer the service. So that's how we started getting all of our leads in the beginning, just Google LSA.
Right.
So you guys are solving two problems. So you guys are solving people who need their homes clean and then contractors who can't find work.
Exactly.
So this is something that anybody could do?
Yeah.
And make money like passively from their laptop doing this?
Well, it's not passively. So like in the beginning, and to get back to what you were saying, I like how you put that. So these independent contractors, they have maybe a small book of business. They don't know how to run a business. Like they have like their word of mouth, people that they've been cleaning for a little bit, and maybe they're working like 15, 20 hours a week, but that's it. Like they don't know how to find new leads. They also don't know how to manage an online presence or build SEO. They don't have like a CRM. Like they're kind of just like bootstrapping it. Right. And they only know so many people that they can do these jobs for. So us finding them and then giving them an opportunity where it's like, we're going to have an entire business like that you don't even have to worry about. We're paying for the leads. We're doing the marketing ourselves. So you don't have to worry about learning how to run ads or anything like that. And then when it comes to the fulfillment, all we're going to be doing is reaching out to you saying like, this is the job, this is the address, this is the frequency, because this business is built on recurring revenue. So these clients that we're going to be doing these jobs for are going to get a clean every 2 weeks or every month. So it's like, this is the job, this is the opportunity, this is how much you're going to get paid for the service every single time.
Right.
Do you want this job?
Yes or no?
Yes or no. And if they do, then it's like, cool. We have them now onboarded into our CRM. So they have this calendar. They can
What's
see
a
all
CRM?
like where we have like all the bookings and everything. Like it's where all our clientele information is. So when you go on Booking Qual is what we use.
Yeah.
And there's a calendar that shows all the jobs that we bring in. So all the clients that we have, and then all of our cleaning providers are on there. So Judy, for example, all of the cleans that she has, she can see it on her side as well. Like, oh, from John's business, I have 5 cleans a week that I have to do. These are the times. It gives the clients information, the address of where the service is, the scope of the work. So she can get like a list of like a checklist of like what she has to do for the job. This is where we also can pay her as well.
Right.
She sets up like her Stripe account and information like that. So every week, every Sunday night, we'll pay her through Booking Koala, and like it's like a all-in-one kind of like platform for her.
Okay.
And then also for us as well as manager. But what I was saying with what you were saying, like they don't know how to do all of that. They just simply want to just do the labor. And we're just solving the problem where we're just adding and building a calendar out for them, building that 40-hour work week schedule where all they have to focus on is just doing the labor. They're getting paid. They don't have to worry about finding the leads, managing a bunch of other people,
Right.
filing taxes at the end of the year for an LLC. Like they just get 1099 at the end of the year. So it's kind of like they're essentially their own business independent person, because the beauty with these cleaners as well for us is we don't have to pay for cleaning supplies. We don't have to pay for transportation. Like they're kind of like their own independent person. They have their own cleaning supplies. They have their own car. So if we give them a job, they're driving there, they're bringing their own supplies, they're paying for all of that. And then we're just simply paying them for their time, for the service.
All right, so now let me ask you this question, because there's gonna be some people out here watching, that they're brand new, pretty much they just came across this video, or they're a loyal watcher or something like that.
All right, so let me ask you guys a real quick question before we move forward any further in this episode. So listen, are you guys struggling with bad credit? Are you guys struggling with credit repair? Or are you struggling with getting funding? So now, if you answered yes to any of those questions, me and the Motion and Success team went ahead and created a community where we're showing you in depth and showing you exactly how to go out and repair your credit without having to hire a credit repair company and spending $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 and still have a chance of not getting any results. I'm going to show you how to use AI to repair your credit. Number two, if you're lacking having a strong credit report, I'm going to show you exactly what to do, where to go, and how to build up a strong profile. And number three, if you're looking to go out and get funding to go ahead and buy equipment for your business, expand your business, get working capital, hire employees, I'm gonna show you exactly where to go to get the funds to grow and scale your business. So if you wanna have some motion and success for your business, motion and success for your family, come ahead and join us home, and I'm gonna see you guys inside the community. Go ahead and click the link down below. Now let's get back to the episode.
So when it comes to starting up the business, what's the typical startup cost to like start a online cleaning business like yours?
Yeah, so when I started mine, it's not that much. I mean, think about it. The LLC, it's $150.
Yeah.
Depending on where you file it. I know I'm from Massachusetts. Luckily, my business is in Florida. An LLC in Mass, it's tax. It's like $400. I think.
That's expensive.
So unfortunately, if you live in Massachusetts, you're going to be paying
But
bread.
it's like a one-time fee, y'all.
Yeah, it's it's one time, but I like to be transparent about that. Different states have different prices for LLCs, but in Florida, it's like $115.
Yeah.
So you have to file the LLC, and then you have like a tech stack that you have to, like non-negotiables that you have to have for the business. So like what I was saying, the CRM, booking qual, that's what we use. It's $50 a month. So it's not.
So LLC, CRM.
Yep, $50 a month for that. You want to have a website, obviously, so you can have an online presence. You can go through like Namecheap is what we use for our domain. It's like $6 a year.
Okay.
And then you have to get insurance for the cleaning business.
What kind of insurance?
So we get general liability insurance. You get $1 million policy, and you would probably think that's tax or a lot of money. It's $20 to $30 a month.
And what is that what is that insurance like covers? Does it cover like?
It's $1 million for general liability. So it allows your LLC to be held liable for anything. But with the business model as it being, we have independent contractors that are doing all the fulfillment. They also have insurance as well. So like the staff that you're
was to break, is there anything missing?
If anything was missing or broken, stained, stuff like that. So your cleaners are going to actually have their own insurance policy that you're going to be leveraging. But for Google LSA, like I was talking about local service ads, you need to upload a certificate of insurance to be able to be on that ad platform. So like that's another reason why you want to get it. Plus, if you tap into like commercial cleans, stuff like that, a lot of these companies that are going to be working with want to see a proof of insurance as well. But $30 a month for insurance.
Where do you go for the insurance? Are you going to like State Farm, Progressive?
No, you can get like there's different websites online that you could get insurance, but you just go to Google, search general liability insurance for a remote cleaning business, and there's 3 different options that you can use for that.
Okay.
But $30 a month for that, and then the main expenses outside, like those are just like the variable expenses. So your tech stack all in, it's $300 to maybe $400 a month, depending if you want to get SEO for your website to kind of just like build that online presence. But you're paying no more than $400 a month for the fixed expenses to start up a business, which is, I don't know any other business where there's a barrier to entry where you're only paying $400 to maybe manage and run a business that's going to be making you $10,000 a month in your first 30 to 60 days.
Right.
But the main expenses that you're going to be paying is the cost of ads if you guys are going to be running ads in the beginning. But the beauty of running ads for home service businesses, it's the pay per lead method, where you're not, I know like a lot of people run like Facebook ads or run Google ads where you set a budget for $1,000 a month and you're just hoping that all the impressions that you're getting turn into leads that turn into closes. With pay per lead, you're only getting charged if that person calls you and they're interested in a service that you offer and a service area that you offer it. So if someone calls me and says, I need to get my gutters clean, and if I don't offer gutter cleaning, I say we don't offer that as a service, I don't have to pay for that lead. But if they call and they say, I have a 2-bed apartment, I need a house clean, and it's in Miami and it's in a service area where I can handle the fulfillment for that, then I would pay for that lead. It'd be like $35 to $50. Depending on different markets, the ad costs are vary.
Okay.
But the pay-per-lead ad platforms are beautiful because it's for qualified leads rather than just like an overarching budget. And then the last expense would be the actual contractors.
Yeah.
You would be looking at a 45 to 50% margin on that. But those are good problems to have, because if you're paying a lot for contractors, that means you're having a lot of jobs and you're making money.
Right.
But
Okay.
$400 basically, though, to answer your question, to start
So
the business.
when it comes to the cleaning business and your workers and your employees, are you they're contractors, but is the people that's paying for the service, they're paying you and then you're paying the contractor
Yes.
out of whatever you collect?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the way that it works is the client sees our business. They don't even, 99% of the time, they don't realize that we're a quote-unquote referral agency is what the model is called, because we're middlemaning this. Like, that's the beautiful part about this business model is we're essentially just a middlemaner. The way that I like to explain it to people, you know how there's drop shipping?
Right.
You can just drop ship a product from China, and you're kind of like, you don't have any of the inventory. You're the middleman. You're finding someone that wants it, and then you're shipping it to them. It's the same business model, but instead of it being an actual product, it's a service. I'm providing a home service, a cleaning service, or whatever, an exterior window, whatever the actual service is. But it's like drop servicing, because we're finding someone that wants something cleaned, and then we're connecting them with an independent contractor that does that for a living, and we're putting the two together, and then we're acting as a referral agency. So we're taking that referral fee in the middle, where we're making that 45, 50% margin on the service. But the client sees us as the business, so Pristine Cleaning.
Right.
They see that, and then the independent contractor is assigned the job, and then we're paying them $25, $30 an hour to do the service every week. We're zelling them that money. Let's just say they have 5 jobs. They make $750 for that week. We're zelling them that amount every single week. And then at the end of the year, they're getting a 1099 from us.
Okay.
So we're not liable for their income tax, obviously. So they're on as an independent contractor, a W-9 worker, not a W-2 worker. So at the end of the year, they're getting a 1099 for the amount of money that they made throughout the year from specifically the leads that we've given them for our business.
So now, you got a question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds like a great business model. Do you think like this is a business model where it can work anywhere? Because, like, for example, we're coming from New York. You know, New York, the cost of living is a little bit higher. Would this be a strategy or like a system that people, if you want to start a cleaning business in New York, that you could also do and still have like good margins?
Yeah, I mean, like, so specifically with New York, the cost of living you said is expensive.
Yeah.
And then for labor costs, it's probably going to be around the same, if not. I mean, think about it, like $25, $30 an hour.
It's not bad for.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And we have students in the academy that have businesses in New York and Brooklyn, and they charge around $50 to $60 an hour for cleaning for like their clients. And if you're paying your cleaners $30 an hour, which is livable for them to accept, like they would want to clean for $30 an hour, then you can see that the margin is around 45, 50% before the lead costs or payment processing fees, obviously like 3% if you're working with Stripe. But it is feasible. Like Parker, who you guys are going to be eventually talking to, his location's in the Midwest. So it's a little bit different than New York, where the cost of living in the Midwest in like a Minnesota or a Madison, Wisconsin is much lower.
Yeah.
But that also means that he doesn't have to pay his cleaners as much.
Okay.
But I mean, he still charges $50 an hour for a client if they wanted to get a deep clean or if they wanted to get a basic clean. So the margins there are even honestly better than they would be in a New York or a Florida. But this does work everywhere. We have people all over the U.S., Canada. We see a lot of people in Canada and then the U.K. But anyone can, and you don't have to. The beautiful thing with this is like what I was saying with Parker. He lives full time in Miami. He's not in Madison, Wisconsin. He's not in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He just has the business model set up. He has the ad platforms running in those service areas. He has his independent contractors hired. Maybe you need to have a skill where sometimes some people like to just run a business in their market because they're familiar with the location. Someone might be calling, hey, like, do you clean in Broward County? If you live in New York and you don't live in Fort Lauderdale and you don't know what Broward County is, you might not be able to answer that question. But if you familiarize yourself with the market, you can run this remotely anywhere. And that's the beautiful part about this business model, because you have that location freedom where you don't have to be in the city where you're running the business. You can go on vacation, you can travel. Like, you guys bop around between New York, Atlanta, Miami for your first time. You don't have to be stuck in that area like someone that works a 9-to-5 job in a cubicle. You have that time freedom, because everything with an online business, you can eventually delegate and automate yourself out of the business. You can have a VA that you can stick in there for $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month, where you can kind of teach them everything that you're currently doing, and you can just slowly create that business into a business. Because the thing that we tell everyone is, if you start a remote cleaning business, but you're working 40 hours a week in the business, you just have a glorified job. You're not actually running a business. You're just, you created yourself a job.
Right.
So the whole plan is to start one of these businesses, master every single vertical of the business, be an assassin at sales, be an assassin at hiring, be an assassin at marketing. And then once it comes to managing your teams and everything like that, like knowing every single part of the business. And then eventually, once you start making money, you're stacking cash, you get a VA. Maybe you say, hey, like, I want you to just manage my cleaning providers. You tell them everything that they need to know about actually managing the cleaners, making sure that their schedules are built out, making sure that they're going to jobs, making sure that the customers are happy with the services, making sure that all the recurring cleans are being actually fulfilled. Once they master that for a little bit, for a couple of weeks, you get them on the phones.
Right.
You start sending them audio recorded calls that you have for different sales calls that you have. You start teaching them about the sales aspects of being able to close at a 75-80% clip. The next thing you know, they master sales. All right, cool. Let's teach you about hiring. These are 3 recorded interviews that I had for our cleaning providers, for independent cleaning providers, for the teams that we've hired. You give them SOPs, you give them scripts, tutorials, everything about that. Next thing you know, now you have a business that's running for itself. Maybe you're overseeing 5 to 7 hours a week for a little bit instead of that 40-hour week. Eventually, you're out of the business. It's cash flowing for you. And you can either just let that make money for yourself, or you can maybe start another location, or you could get into real estate, or you can do something else.
So now let me ask you this. So now what will be, I think you mentioned it, but just to kind of clean it up a little bit, when it comes to, starting an online cleaning business, the benefit is, you can work from anywhere. You don't necessarily have to be doing you don't have to be the person that's cleaning, and the cost to start the business is very low. Now, what is, like, in a quick few steps, what's the fastest way to be able to make the first $10,000 a month in online cleaning business?
Yeah, so the most important part is getting everything set up and getting your ad platforms approved. And this is where
ads.
Yeah, because obviously in the beginning, if you are freshly starting out, you don't have any online presence.
Right.
So eventually, maybe a year into scaling your remote cleaning business, you have 150 5-star reviews. You're cleaning an entire neighborhood, and like the word of mouth starts spreading. You're ranking organically on your Google business profile, or you have SEO services. So in the beginning, and this is why we started the JPM partner program, where we do the entire setting up, the front end and the back end for people, which is what we try to achieve in a 2 to 3 week basis. A lot of people, it takes a lot longer because they don't have access to in-house teams with Google. They don't have access with all these other different ad platforms getting verified and approved, because there's like a waiting period. But in that 2 to 3 week period, once you get set up, what we recommend is that you just blast ads. You spend $1,000 or maybe $2,000 in that first month on ads, because if you are getting leads and you're closing those leads, then that's going to lead to maybe a lot of one-time services that you can then have an opportunity to convert into a recurring clean, where then you can start stacking that recurring revenue month over month, building that recurrent client basis early. And then you do that for a couple of months. Maybe in that first month you had, and these are just random numbers, you do $5,000 in revenue. And then after that first month, you convert 20% of those to a recurrent client.
Right.
So out of that $5,000, you have 2,000 of that on the books for that next month. Cool. Do that again. You have the same ad spend. You have now $2,000 on the book going into month 2. You have another $5,000 in revenue come in. And then from that new $5,000 in revenue, you convert another $1,500 or $3,500 of that into a recurring client. So slowly, month over month, the name of the game is going into that next month, you have more and more income before the month has even started. And on top of it, you have a cleaning provider that now knows going into the week, oh, I have 3 cleans this week. Because another hard part in the beginning is allowing these independent contractors to stay with you. Because if you tell them that you're going to give them the world and it's like, oh yeah, once you get onboarded to us, like we're going to give you that 40-hour work week.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to give you that 40-hour work week schedule right away. Then they're just like, oh, okay, this is going to be lit. Yeah. And then you don't give them any jobs. They're just going to walk from you.
Yep.
And they might be like a rock star cleaning provider, but you don't even know that because you haven't given them jobs. Right. So that first 2 month, 3 month is so important in the beginning, because if you're getting leads, you're closing them at a high clip, and then you're taking care of your cleaning providers, which is essentially the asset of your business. Then they're going to be there to stay. And then now you have momentum. Now you can just keep stacking. It's a snowball effect from there.
Next thing you know, you're making that consistent,
Facts.
10, 15, 20, $30,000 a month.
And you're getting that brand reputability, because now all these clients are giving you 5-star reviews. Maybe you're even incentivizing them, being like, hey, like, if you give me a 5-star review, here's our link. I'll give you $10 off your next clean. So now you're incentivizing them to get a recurring clean. You get that 5-star review. It's like, hey, cool, your next clean is going to be $150 instead of $175, because now you're on a 2-week basis. Plus, we're going to give you $10 on top of it off for that 5-star review. So now you're just kind of like building that snowball slowly but surely.
I literally was just about to ask you too, because I'm like, in business like cleaning, one of the first things I'll do, especially when I'm vetting out a cleaning, like I'm trying to find out who to go to, I'm gonna go on Google and I'm gonna type in like cleaning business. And like you said, Google is always a platform and they're gonna rank certain things. I'm looking at reviews and all of those things. So for you guys, when you guys are like getting clients, what is the script that you guys use to stand out? Because I'm pretty sure it might be a little bit competitive, because most people, they're gonna compare, hey, this company has this price. Hey, this company has this price. And not all the time is something cheap a good idea. And not all the time something expensive is also a good idea. And then you get bad service. So how do you guys really stand out in that competitive like type of field?
For us, we just do our market research. And what we charge for prices is similarly to what everyone else charges. So you just have to, it's all about like the conversation on the phone and just being competent with them. And for example, for LSA, another thing that you were saying, like you do some like brand checks or whatever with LSA in the beginning, if you guys are starting out.
Wait, what? LSA?
Local service ads.
Oh, the Google.
Yeah.
Okay. I keep
like
forgetting.
People are just going to call you and then they just think that it's like, oh, like I want to like know about your service and everything. Like they're not going through your website because it's just strictly a CTA to just call a cleaning business. Okay. They go to the phone and then you're going to be getting routed to them to talk on the phone. But if they're like, oh, we're going to shop around, like, let me ask my wife, like, if the common objections that you have, you just, have to just inform them, like, wherever you're going to be shopping around, like, I can assure you that our prices are the same, if not even better than every other competitor that you're going to be looking at right now, because we've done our market research, we have the best rates. And then also, you got to create a sense of urgency as well. So something that we like to do is, for example, someone calls, they need to get it clean this weekend, and they're like, oh, like I just got to talk to my husband and I'll get back to you in a day or so. And this is now leading like a day and a half to that service. You create that sense of urgency where you're like, hey, like, I love that you're going to talk to your husband or whatever about this service. Like, but like what we can do now is I can't promise you that we're going to be able to have this availability for you if you call back in a day or in 2 days. So what we can do now is we can just get you on the calendar. We can book your clean. And we're going to have to take your information, everything like that, obviously.
Yeah.
And then have that conversation with your husband. And then assuming that you guys have that talk within a 24-hour grace period before that service, God forbid you guys can't do that clean, you just call us back. You can tell us that we can't do the service and we'll take you off the calendar. There's no risk. It's completely free. So like there's a lot of like sales tactics and like
Basics,
strategies that you can have to be able to make sure that the people that are calling you are going to be getting booked, because what we tell everyone that we work with is if you don't get them on the calendar from that first call, your closing rate goes down like 90%. Like there's a low chance that you're going to be getting them back, because they're just going to call another company, or someone else is going to have the sales tactic that you should have said to get them on the calendar. So like the name of the game is, if they call you, you get them booked. Like you try your hardest to get them on that calendar after that first touch point.
Right. So now let me ask you a question, because, you know, one of the things that I know personally speaking, you know, is they say the United States is the biggest buyers of whatever product or service that you're selling. And a lot of times is, you know, they have different jobs where they will contract out to business owners. So like basically government contracting. Are you in that lane of government contracting for like cleaning and things of that nature?
We specifically aren't. There are a lot of like red tape and stuff like with the government contracts.
What's the red tapes?
So for example, the business model that we use and specialize in is the W-9 workers. A lot of these government contractors, they're going to want to have W-2 employees to be able to do some of these jobs. So,
I mean, but they're paying you guys like $500,000, $900,000 for certain contracts, right?
I mean, some of them you can, but then you have to be able to handle the fulfillment for that. So
Wouldn't it be the same thing where you just hire somebody else that would clean? Like you just hire somebody else that actually subcontract the work? Wouldn't it be the same?
you could, but like in the beginning, like in the early stages of the beginning, you're not going to be able to have a team of 20 people, and they're going to have their own supplies too. So like if you wanted to tap into the government contract game, you're probably going to have to be covering some overhead expenses on some supplies, transportation. And if you deal the W-2 route, then you're going to have to be providing benefits for these employees as well. And there's like a lot of other different things outside of just the W-9 route, where you can kind of just do these smaller jobs where you can find and hit your pockets of 50% margins, and you're not going to have to be having that much overhead risk versus the W-2. You're going to be spending more money and stuff like that. And there is, I mean, like you guys this is your first time in Miami?
Yeah.
How many high rises did you guys see? How many new buildings did you see getting put up? Like it's crazy how many doors and how many new buildings are being put up and how many people are moving down here. Like there's obviously like, it would be sick to land like a $500,000 contract for a government contract. But I mean, like low risk, you guys can just attack all the residentials that all the different high rises and stuff. Like there's so much money out there to capture in every market that you guys are in.
Right.
I just was gonna say too, because I was like, you know, are you guys like aiming specifically like for, let's say you live around Brickell, which is, you know, if you living around Brickell, you got some money. Like,
Yeah.
is that like an area that you're looking to, you know, try to get more leads from that area, just because you know, like more than likely,
service.
it's not
area.
going to be a budget on a price.
And that's the thing too. It's like a lot of people like in this market specifically, like don't care how much a clean is, because they're just guaff. Like people just have money down here. So it's like, oh, like they're more so concerned like, are you going to be able to do this clean on Saturday? And then it's like, yeah, like this is how much it is. Cool. Here's my credit card, like stuff like that. But I mean, like even outside of Brickell, like there's like, I mean, you guys know there's Music Week, there's Art Basel, like all these events. You have all these tourists that are coming down. Like Icon, for example, is a building in Miami. Like there's a bunch of Airbnbs there. Like a lot of people are in and out. So like there's a lot of Airbnb demand. A lot of these huge ass cribs in North Miami Village, North Miami Beach that are $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month to be rented. Those are getting clean. Like I have some crazy stories. Like when I started my business in October, that first December was Art Basel.
Yeah.
Art Basel was all the billionaires across the world come down here. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about coming down here next year for Art Basel, but so many events are going on outside of just like the art and everything. But I get a Google LSA call, and it's this kid, like he sounds like he's my age. And he gives me the address for this home. I'm looking it up on Zillow. It's like $55,000 a month to rent. And he was like, yeah, like I'm managing this person. He's rented out this Airbnb for essentially like 5 or 6 days. I need someone to be able to clean every single day. We're going to be having a party every single night. And I quoted him. It was like $1,200 a day to clean this place.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, like I don't care how much it costs. Like I'm just in charge of the credit card this weekend. Like I'm managing. He name drops the guy. He goes, he was like, you know, Diddy. Diddy, I swear to God. This is Diddy's.
That makes sense,
This
bro.
This
I
is
see why the
Diddy.
fee was so high. Nah, let me
This is Diddy's crib for the week. And I'm like, I've been in business for about like 5 weeks, and none of the allegations are out about Diddy at the time. And I cleaned Diddy's crib for the 5 days, $1,400 a day.
Yeah.
And this dude's like, yeah, you can pull up. Like, if you want, like, we're having parties every single night. Like, you can pull up. I personally didn't go to any of the parties.
All right, yeah, bro.
But it was crazy. And like those are like the kinds of like situations that you have in like a market like Miami, where you might just get that phone call that can just like, that was $7,000 in revenue in 5 days.
5 days, yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, that's insane. And the margin on that was like 60% because he tells me straight up, like, I don't care about how much it's going to cost. Like, we just need to make sure that this place is spotless every single night. So we were able to charge him $75, $80 an hour instead of that $60 an hour.
Right. So how about like, you know, also one of the things that I realize is like, you know, when you're dealing with certain people, it's kind of like, I kind of want to tie this into like real estate, because we did have some real estate guests on. And, you know, when you go to Home Depot, you can't drive certain cars. You can't pull up in certain you can't look a certain way, because now you're going to be paying the rich person tax, you know? So like, how do you stay in a zone when it comes to pricing where you're not overpricing like the well-off people, but you still being able to charge something decent and reasonable?
I mean, like I was saying before, like, our prices are very similar to like all the other companies that are in our market.
Yeah.
So like people that are calling for a cleaning service, they know that it's going to be relatively within that like price gap. Just because the model is drop servicing or middlemaning, like we still can create that 50% spread even with our prices being at that cost. And then just like another thing too is, I mean, it all depends on the amount of volume that that specific client is going to be asking for. So we might not charge $60 an hour for an Airbnb client that says, hey, I have 15 turns a month. Like, I need you to come in 15 times a month to clean my Airbnb. We'll charge them $40 an hour because now our profit margin goes down from 50% to 35%, but it's the volume that we're getting every 2 days of the month, we're getting a clean in, and we're able to come down on the price because we're going to be making money on the amount of time that we're doing the service every other day versus once a month or twice a month. And I mean, you can ask your clients as well, like, oh, like, did you have a budget? Like, if they have a huge house and it seems like someone that is going to want to have a service every month, be like, oh, like, did you have a cleaning provider before? Like, what were you paying with them? Like, what's your budget? Like, what are you like shopping around, like looking for? And then you can dissect from there. You can, oh, we're looking for a $350 service. Maybe my price calculator would come out at $450. But if I know that I'm going to be cleaning this person every single month, and I know that I'm going to be paying my contractor $200 for that service, and they're saying $350, then I'm making now $150 instead of me risking saying, oh, it's $450, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna keep shopping around. I just lost $150 a month now because of my pricing. So like asking them for a budget if you think that it's gonna be an expensive service, just to kind of have like a temp check and see where they're at, allows you to then kind of work with them and ensure that you're gonna be getting them on the calendar.
I wanted to ask you too, like what is your strategy? Because, you know, cleaning is one of those things is, you know, it's somebody's home, somebody's house. You know, what is your strategy in getting good contractors, like people who are going to do a good job? Because they also play a role in your reviews and your business and things like that. So what is your strategy in hiring good contractors, not just any contractor?
Yeah, so like what you were saying, you said when in the beginning I asked, like, where would you guys look to find a cleaning service? You said Facebook groups. So one of the methods that we use to source cleaners is called a referral-based method. So I'll join a bunch of Facebook groups in Miami, and then are you familiar with Nextdoor?
Nextdoor, yes.
It's essentially like a massive Facebook group. You create an account, you set up your zip code where you're located, and instead of being in what's going on in Brickell or whatever, it's just one group. Everyone's within like a 10 or 15 mile radius because of the zip code that you put in. And we'll just go into these groups and we'll go to the search bar and we'll search cleaning. And then we'll see people that live in the community be like, oh, I just moved to Brickell. I just got my apartment. I'm looking for someone that can clean my place every month. Who do you guys recommend? And on that post, you're going to see 10, 15 comments of people. You're going to see people that have their own cleaning business be like, oh, like, And you can tell that it's someone that is just simply trying to like create business opportunity. But then you're gonna see Dan that's like, oh, I use Judy every week, like she's great, like this is her personal number, like she's been cleaning my place for 2 years, like highly recommend. Because there are people that are in these Facebook groups that like eat up the Facebook groups and they love kind of like being part of the community. So then you make a lead list of those providers, like the genuinely like referral based providers, and you can text them and you can say, hey, like, do you clean in Brickell or whatever? Like just try to get like a touch point with them. They're going to obviously respond like, of course I do, like call me, whatever. And then you get on the phone with them and you say, hey, like I saw that you were recommended in a Facebook group that I'm in. I see that you clean Dan's place. Essentially what I do is I'm scaling into Brickell. I have a cleaning business and we're looking to maybe add a couple providers to our roster. We're going to be scaling into Brickell specifically. We also clean these areas. And then you kind of pitch them the opportunity to be part of like your crew.
Right.
And they're now a referral based cleaner. So like that whole vetting process, they're being recommended by people within the community. So it's not like you just found them on Indeed or you found them on like a job board where they're applying to you. Like you're reaching out to them because they're being recommended. So that social proof is already like established and is already there. So like the referral based method is huge for kind of just like having that like trust factor going into making sure that they're going to be a high quality provider. And then another thing that you guys can do as well is you can do a test clean. So if you're looking to onboard a couple new providers, I have one of my homies that live in Parkland, and I can say, hey, like, if you need a clean, instead of paying what you would actually pay for a cleaning service, I'll just charge you labor costs. Or maybe I just give them the homie rate and I pay for half of it.
Right.
And then when I'm onboarding a cleaning provider, we go through the interview. Everything seems to be checking off all the boxes. I set the expectations. And then it's like I'm ready to onboard her, but I'm not entirely sure yet if she's going to be 100% high quality legit. I can tell her on that interview, oh, like, are you available tomorrow? I have a clean that last minute just came up. I don't have a cleaning provider for it yet. This is the address, location. This is what you'd be getting paid. I pitch it as like, this is like her first job. 99% of the time, if this is someone that wants to actually work with me, they're going to do everything that they can to go to that service.
Yep.
But what they don't know is that this is my homie that's getting a clean.
Yeah.
And he's going to be asking her questions. He's going to be making sure that she does a good job. He's going to be making sure that she doesn't steal anything. Like a big thing that we preach to our cleaners is like, hey, whenever we give you jobs, these are our clients. Like we're paying for the lead. Don't poach our business. Like don't steal our business. It's one of the biggest things that a lot of people ask. It's like, oh, like, how do you know they're not just going to steal your clients from you? You have to set the expectation. So we set that expectation on the interview. Now she cleans my homie's place. At the end of the clean, she's doing the walkthrough with him. And then I make sure that he asks her, beautiful service, like how do I book another clean? We tell her on the interview, you give them our information, you tell them to go to our website. Maybe we already gave them business cards, give them a business card, not your information. Yeah. She gives him her personal phone number. Oh, you can just text me for the next clean. Like
red flag.
I can actually give you like a better rate. Now you just saved yourself thousands of dollars possibly. Yeah. And now you can just not even onboard them because your homie was able to tell you like, oh, like she gave me her number. But if she's like, oh, call John, like this is his website, like book another clean through him. If you want me to be of service for you for the next one, like make obviously a word for that. I'd appreciate that. They do that. Now they're going to maybe be a rock star for you. Wow. So like that's like another thing that you can do, like the test clean.
Wow. Yeah. I was going to ask you too, you know, a lot of people are going to be watching this and they're going to be like, cleaning business, cleaning agency. Could you just break down, you know, the difference and why an agency would be a better method, especially if you're trying to make more money?
Yeah, so like we call it a referral agency. You can call it a middleman, whatever like the word is. But I mean, like we're in the world of business. We want to be able to scale. We want to be able to make more money. If you guys are starting your cleaning business and then you're inside the business working as a laborer, you're not going to be able to scale. Mm-hmm. Like the beauty with this business model is I can have 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 20 cleaning providers working under me where they're doing all the fulfillment and all I have to do is bring more demand, bring more leads to them, close more deals, and then I can just scale that book of business. If I was the only laborer in the business, I would cap myself out at, I don't know, like 20 services a month. Or 30 services a month. Because I have a whole crew of cleaning providers, I can do 200 services a month. I can have 100 recurring clients a month on our book of business that's doing $18,000, $25,000 a month because I don't have to actually I don't like have to give up my time to do that fulfillment. I can just focus on like the actual business operations the sales, the marketing, making sure that everything's ebbing and flowing, and then they can just do all the actual dirty work.
So now let's say, for example, a person that might be watching this, they're interested in, business, but they just got a lot of stuff going on, at the moment. They really want to do this. Like, what's some of the opportunities that you guys got right now? 'Cause I know you do like franchising and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
we have the JPM partner program where essentially, like what I was saying before, one of the hardest, or I wouldn't say like the hardest parts, but one of the more difficult things is obviously you have an idea about something and then you have to actually take action and execute on that idea. A lot of people all the time, and when we had Drop Service Academy, which was like our education academy for starting a cleaning business, we'd have people come into our ecosystem, be like, I want to do this. Like, I want to start this business. Okay, cool. Here's all the information. Do it. People don't take action.
Right.
So with the JPM partner program, what we do is if you're serious about this, if you're going to be eventually allocating some time to be able to scale a remote cleaning business or a home service arbitrage business is another word for it because you're kind of getting that spread. What you can do is you can work with us directly. Instead of you having this idea and then actually having to do all the setup stuff, we'll do it all for you. So we'll set up the front end, we'll set up the back end, we'll help you get everything approved on an onboarding call for 2-3 hour call. As soon as you get into our ecosystem, we'll get your ad platform set up, we'll get your insurance approved, we'll get your LC approved, we'll help you get your business bank account set up, we'll help you hire and source cleaners, your CRM set up, we'll clone our CRM template with yours so you don't have to spend 5-6 hours building out all the pricing, building out all the master email templates, everything like that. We'll get the entire thing set up for you. And then after that's all set up, where all you have to do is turn on a doggle to have your ads going live and getting leads, we'll do a 90-day ramp period as well where we'll train you on sales, we'll train you on hiring, and we'll train you on marketing. And then in exchange of that, we have a licensing fee that you have to pay up front. And then we also are business partners for indefinitely until the business is running. So we're going to have an equity share. It's going to be a small equity share. We only do 5%.
Yeah.
And then we're your business partner now for life. So we're incentivized for you to obviously crush it with your business because we have equity. We're making money when you're making money. So we get everything set up for you. We hand you the keys. We train you on how to be a master at operating this business. And then now you're operating the business and we're an equity partner in the background where whenever you have questions, whenever you have like an odd quote that you need help with, or if you need to help hire more cleaners, we're there as your business partner to help you make sure that we're going to be solving that problem and taking this business to $10,000, $20,000, maybe even $50,000 a month.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of what we offer with the JPM partner program. And yeah, it's like a partnership.
Can you talk about like some success stories out of that? Like, people that might have left their job or people that they probably was doing a different business model. It just wasn't working out for them. Like, you got any crazy testimonies?
Yeah, our recent one, Eddie, he's in Minnesota. He's an engineer. And essentially he has an engineering job. He's making $80,000, $100,000 a year, but he also wants to just add a supplemental income stream to his daily life and everything. He's got a family, he's got kids, and he's joined the JPM partner program. Me and Parker got everything set up, and now he's doing, I think he did $19,000 so far in the month of April. Obviously, we have a few days left, but that's something that he started 3 months ago. Obviously, the profit margin on that is, in the beginning, your profit margins are going to be lower because you're spending a lot more on ads, so you're acquiring customers. So he's probably sitting around like a 35, maybe 38% profit margin on that $19,000. But in just 3 months, we got everything set up for him in 2.5 weeks. Yeah. We got the phones ringing. He's answering the phones. You can eventually plug in a VA as well. But he's at $19,000 for his second full month being fully operational, because that first month was getting everything set up. The second month was now he's live, now he's getting leads, now he's closing deals. I think he did $9,200 or $9,600 in his first full month being fully operational, and he's double that for his second month. So that's Eric, who's in Minnesota. Wow. And nice. I mean, like, once he hits $25K a month, if he doesn't want to be on the phones anymore, we can spend that $1,000 or $2,000 of the money that he's making to plug in a virtual assistant, and then we'll go in there, we'll train them, we'll give them all the SOPs, we'll vet them, we'll make sure that, I mean, obviously, if you have someone that's replacing you in the business, you want them to do just as good as a job as what you're currently doing, if not a better job. So we'll make sure that that is the case, and then he can slowly delegate himself out of the business just 4 or 5 months into the actually operations of running and facilitating this business.
Wow. And you've been doing this for a little while, the last few years. So what would be like your biggest month doing this? Like
Our
in terms
biggest-
of revenue, income?
For us, for me and Mark, for our locations, like 55,000.
Wow.
But with what we're doing now is every single month we're launching and starting 8 new locations. So month over month, we're building this portfolio of these new home service businesses where we have a small amount of equity in the business.
Yeah.
And I mean, a year from now, we want to have 100 locations.
Wow.
So that portfolio in itself could be doing $1 million or $1.5 million a month. And then with
We
our
can even
equity,
sell it, right?
yeah, we're gonna be collecting that cash. So that's the name of the game that we're focusing on right now is just stacking these locations, and then 3 years from now or 5 years from now, maybe have those conversations with private equity where it's like, hey, we have this portfolio of locations, we're looking to exit. Now you get a crazier multiple because instead of a 1.5, 2x multiple for one location, we have a portfolio of 100 of these or 200 of these. You get that 5x multiple, you get that 6x multiple. And if we wanted to sell the businesses, not only are we getting an exit value, but all of our partners in the JPM partner program are getting cashed out too, if that's what they want to do. We could just sell our equity, or if they want to get out of their 95%, they can get a check in the mail as well.
Wow. I just got to ask you too, bro.
then,
This
dude,
is going to be a little, because I know we're going to wrap up soon, but just want to ask you too, like what makes Miami such a place where it's like a lot of people in your early 20s, mid 20s, like they're out here crushing it in Miami? Like, what do you do
It's the internet, bro.
in your personal life that gives you that balance to go out and get the money and stay focused?
Wait, say that again?
Like, what keeps you going to be able to still, go out, have your fun, but also stay focused on the business?
I mean, bro, like I wake up and on my balcony, I see this crazy city in front of me. I see all these cars driving around. I go to Moxie's in Brickell and I see an SF90. I see a McLaren. I see Bugatti. Like, there's just so much opportunity and money down here. And I'm looking at myself and it's like, I don't have the SF90. I don't even have a car down here. Like, I don't like, there's a lot of the difference between like Miami and like a Boston or even like a Midwest location is you don't have the money over there. Like you don't have anyone to motivate you or to inspire you to lock in. Like if I want to be able to enjoy myself down here and spend $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month, I have to make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. So like there's opportunity cost with everything. And this is just an entrepreneurial like kind of like bubble. Like everyone down here has an online business.
Yeah.
In Boston, everyone's working at Fidelity and they're financial analysts. Like everyone has their time location or their time freedom and their money freedom and their location freedom. So you can meet a lot of cool people down here and you can provide value for all your friends if whatever business they're running, and you can kind of just like step in and play a role with what they're doing and provide value. And with all the opportunity down here and the beautiful weather is another thing. Like, like I don't want to be in an office when it's 80 degrees out right now. Like I want to be at the beach. I want to play basketball. Like I want to go to the gym in the afternoon. And like, just like the energy down here is crazy. Like everyone says the Miami effect. It's like once you move to Miami, you instantly you're just tapped in. And
this was a good one, John, man. Appreciate you, bro, for coming through. I'm pretty sure a lot of people learned a lot, bro.
Yes, absolutely.
So definitely just tell the people where they could find you, where they could get more information, and especially where could they get, that help to go out and start their
so you guys
businesses.
can just find me on Instagram, Jon Melillo, and just DM me. I'm
How do you
not
spell it?
JONMELILLO. And then you can just follow me on Instagram. I have all my content. I probably have 200 videos on my Instagram that you guys can go through. You can watch all my reels and everything, kind of explaining the business model, what we do. I have a YouTube, everything, just Jon Melillo. You can find that. And just DM me on Instagram. If you guys are interested in seriously starting this business, whether that's just you doing it on your own or maybe joining the JPM partner program, just message me, inquire about it, and we can reach out. We can hop on a call. I'm not going to connect you with some random guy that's going to get on a sales call with you. Like I'll get on a call with you. Like that's what we like to do as well. Like if we're going to be business partners, like I want to talk to you. I want to make sure that you're actually going to be someone that I want to work with. So just DM me on Instagram. I'll get on a call with you. We can chat and we can have a conversation and see if it's a good fit.
Absolutely. So listen, guys, I think this is definitely a good opportunity where you'll be able to start learning how to make some online money, start yourself a cleaning business. So if you enjoyed the episode, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe, share it with a friend. This is definitely something that can change somebody else's lives. And definitely go see you guys on the next one. Peace.